Well, how do you do? How do you do? Nice to see you.
Yo, this is the Hobby Shop Podcast. Been gone for a couple months, but we're back. I would say this would be considered to be season 2. So that was my intro. I haven't done it in a while, so I gotta just
hand it off.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. I guess we can call this the beginning of season 2 since we kind of took a
hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus. Let's call it that. Meaning my computer crashed and I don't have editing software anymore. And
Well, you fixed it.
No, my computer's fixed now.
Yeah, it's fixed.
That's why we didn't do it for so long, is because my computer was just completely...
You still remembered how to do the editing stuff I showed you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it's not hard, it's just time consuming.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, we're just kind of going to go all over the place, no real topic, just...
Because it's season 2, you got to keep stuff fresh. Like Louis always said, you can't do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. So anyway, first thing I wanted to kind of talk about is, I just watched 8 episodes of Steven's Universe, and honestly, at first I was like, why has everybody made a big deal out of this show? Now, you've seen it, right?
I binge watched all the way to season 2.
Okay. What about him?
I don't watch cartoons anymore.
Okay.
Why don't you really? I mean,
I'm not interested in it really.
American cartoons?
Well, yeah, because it's, I don't know, it's more childish.
No,
I find that to be the charm. Because, I mean, even in anime, I mean, except for the more mature, like, seinen
That's
ones.
the most I watch is just seinen.
Alright, well, I would say Steven Universe is one of these examples of it basically showcases everything that you can throw into a cartoon. It's beautifully animated. It has all the characters are really likable. I don't know. There's one character in it that I'm like on.
Which one?
Pearl.
Everyone has an issue with Bird Mom.
Well,
You can't hate Bird Mom.
the thing though is, I don't think she's a terrible character. That's just the only one where I'm like, I love all the other characters. That's the only one I don't love, but it's still a good character, and I still get the point. Although my question is, does Steven just not go to school?
Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Yeah. I'm guessing you didn't see that episode where Connie. Or did you get that far?
Last episode I watched was Cat Fingers.
Okay, then yeah, you didn't see Connie yet. Yeah, you haven't seen her yet.
It's just, I don't know. I just assume the whole show takes place in summer vacation, like a lot of kids shows do.
Nope. It's all throughout the year.
He just doesn't go to school. Okay.
It's episodic, so you just you can jump in any time. I mean, there's few of them that have arcs, but they're really short.
And that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of cartoons have been easier for me to just jump into and watch. Because I haven't really seen a whole lot of American shows that have like a flowing narrative. I mean, they might have one, but it's not like the focal point of every episode.
It's like you said, it's more like the side part of there. Because I mean, I'm trying to really think. Because even Teen Titans was episodic. It didn't really. I mean, it had arcs, but it just you can jump in any time. Same with Samurai Jack. Did Samurai Jack really even have arcs except for the first part?
I think it had I think the first couple episodes, the first 3-4 episodes. But the rest, yeah. I don't think. I think they all were self-contained stories. Which I really like. I really like that with some shows. But most shows at least have some kind of overall story arc. But the episodes aren't paced that way. They're paced as if they're their own individual stories. Adventure Time did this. Regular Show does this. And Steven Universe does this. I just think it lends it better. I think that's kind of one of the differences between American cartoons and anime. Because aren't most anime all just one continuing story, kind of
Well, yeah, because whenever an anime airs, they only have a certain episodes that they're allowed, like 13 to 26 usually.
Okay, so they kind of have to get this. That's probably
And
why.
that's like they're one of the big like shows that people want to pick up.
Is that why in a lot of shonen anime, they have like these they get like what's the average per season, or how does it work?
First season is like 12, 13 episodes.
12, 13 episodes. So is that why in a lot of shonen you have about like 13 episodes of one story arc, and once that story arc is concluded, they just start a whole new story arc?
They'll usually go into it even more. Usually shonen, because shonen they just like to prolong things to keep it going.
It just seems like they've all been kind of, and it's just like I'm gonna use like shows like I'm gonna use Bleach as an example.
Yeah.
I've only gotten through maybe the first season of Bleach, but from what I hear, it's like there's like in most shonen, there's like a villain for every story arc.
Yeah.
So so is that why they're only allowed a certain amount of episodes? So they just try to make just this one story arc, and they just do it, one at a time.
Yeah.
All right.
Usually.
I just really didn't know that.
Well, I think they could really just shorten it by getting things done instead of just having a bunch of dicking around.
Well,
Wow,
that's
let's-
usually what shonen is, because people want more of it, so it just keeps escalating.
The thing though is the problem with a lot of shonen is they have to have filler, because a lot of times there's not source material.
Yeah.
To go
Yeah, because the
off
source,
of.
they end up colliding.
Yeah, they collide, and then they just have to.
That's why like in Dragon Ball Z you have like these filler arcs that are just really just there to span time, just to really waste time until more source material is created.
I mean, that's what could be a little bit argued for the American cartoons, because sometimes, I look at Steven Universe, it doesn't really feel like it has filler episodes. I mean, granted, there are some episodes that do kind of feel like it, but they still have character development, or they show a little more into it.
One thing I didn't know about Steven Universe was I didn't know it was a comedy. There is, it's not like a ha-ha comedy, but there is
Think of it like the new Teen Titans.
I've seen like an episode.
Oh yeah.
I've seen like
Didn't
maybe
you
5
watch Teen
minutes of
Titans?
it.
Yeah, when I was young, but I don't remember.
Oh wait, yeah, okay.
Shit of Teen
Which one?
Titans.
The original.
The new one everybody bitches about, or the original?
Not Go. Forget
Okay.
about Go. Go is not Teen Titans. That's
Go. I've seen 5 minutes of it.
like just call Go.
Yeah,
It's not Teen Titans.
The original Teen Titans, I've seen a handful of episodes. Remember when it first came on, I didn't like it. I hated the art style. I thought it was like, my thought was basically, what the fuck is this? Where it's like, because I was expecting Teen Titans to be done like by Bruce Timm, because of Justice League and all that.
So we're more expecting more bulkier, a little bit like how Batman animated series was.
Yeah,
Where
more of the.
Where they're not really sharp edges. They don't have the weird sharp corner edges that you had
Later
no
on,
problem.
they did. But
Yeah, like later on. But that's because they changed. I think animators.
they changed studios.
Okay, they changed studios.
I think I don't remember the name of the studio that originally did Batman the Animated Series, but it was a studio out of Japan. I think the new one they switched to was, I say new, this was like 16, 17 years ago. But they switched to a studio out of Korea. And
Speaking of that, on topic, sorry to get in the way.
It's okay.
But is it also Japan that uses Korea too for animators?
A little. They outsource through themselves usually, though.
Because I know here in America, a lot of cartoons go through Korea.
yeah, which is kind of it's either Korea or Japan a lot of the times. Even shows you would never even think of being animated in like Korea or Japan, like Animaniacs.
Yeah, because I know Adventure Time has Korea, a little bit of Japanese, and I know for the James Baxter one, they got some guy's name. 'Cause I read up on it, but they usually have a huge field of different animators.
I remember this thing when I was a kid where a big controversy at the time was um, people were not wanting their kids to watch stuff from Japan because they're afraid that the the high-paced animation and all that would give kids seizures.
These jelly donuts are delicious.
But
From Pokemon, I think it was the 4 Kids dub. He has rice balls, and he's like, "These donuts are delicious."
okay,
'Cause I know 4 Kids like did a lot of stuff.
that's not really what I'm talking about.
Well, I know what you're
the
talking about. You're talking about the seizure.
seizure-inducing animation.
But that only
whatever.
happened. I only heard because of Pokemon. Was the only animation that caused that. I don't know if it's the
Pokemon
only
is what
one.
started that idiotic debate about how, Japanese cartoons, they're, the way they're animated, it'll give kids seizures, even though American shows were being animated in Japan for like almost 20 years before that point. Or maybe about 10 years, I guess, would have been a better estimate. But like, you look at a lot of shows from like the 80s, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, all those shows primarily were animated in Japan. So
SWAT
apparently, what?
Was SWAT Cats?
Yes, SWAT Cats.
So I know that had a huge fucking budget.
And
And that's what.
it had a budget in places. It kind of did the anime style of make the action scenes look amazing, but everything else is not important.
Well, I mean, I heard that's what killed it was the budget.
Yeah, that's the reason why it didn't get a season 3.
That and the violence.
That and the violence, yeah. It got banned not banned, but it got took down because of violence. But anyway, the thing with I've been kind of doing this whole thing where I will sit down and watch like the current shows on like Cartoon Network just to kind of get a gauge on, okay, what's the thing now? What how have cartoons really progressed? Or because I hear about people saying, oh, we're in this new boom period of cartoons, and I'm like, yeah, right, but let's actually see this boom period.
Well, I mean, you also hear that in anime too, don't you?
That we're currently in a boom period.
Not really, because you just always get a season of anime every 12 weeks.
I think a lot of people were saying that because they feel like they're just getting way more anime than they had ever gotten, and I think that's due to the fact that anime is so much easier to get a hold of now. Because back in the 90s, even the early 2000s,
now
it was
the
kind of hard to
move
get.
between 2D and 3D animation, it's a lot easier to do.
Now, this argument about, oh, we're in a new boom period of animation, I actually kind of agree. It's not everything is great. You still got your stupid shit like what's the one that everyone says is crazy? Uncle Grandpa. I was trying to think of. I can't remember what it was.
I have no opinion on that.
I've seen it. It's not subtle at all, and honestly, it just looks like it's just there to fill airtime. But they just try to throw as much crazy shit at the screen. So some people say, "Oh, it's creative." People are saying, "Oh my God, it's the most crazy thing I've ever seen." Those people who say it's the most crazy thing they've ever seen have not seen Ren and Stimpy, because you're not going to match that when it comes to craziness. But Uncle Grandpa's like that thing where I'm like, okay, that's
It's just there.
we were going to run out of steam eventually. But with Adventure Time, regular show, Steven Universe, I'll even say Gumball.
Well, Adventure Time's been suffering because it's got an issue of having too many characters.
To be honest, I haven't gotten past season 2, so I'm
Okay.
still.
Well, later on, you're gonna get a huge chunk of characters that you don't care for because they have like one episode, and then after that, they just disappear until the arc comes.
I would have to watch it for myself, honestly, to be able to judge that. But to me, it just seems like we're in the last, let's say, 5 years. Yeah, about 5 years. It just seems like we've gotten way better quality cartoons from primarily Cartoon Network.
I want to say with the writing, the humor, and the characters, we've gotten a lot more likable characters. I don't know if they can really count as relatable. They are likable, but I've never really made a relatable connection.
Well, it's close enough. I'd rather have likable characters anyway, so it works out fine with me. But it's not just Cartoon Network. I think like Disney's actually starting to kind of pull itself back with
it
shows.
only has Gravity Falls. It
Really?
got Phineas and Ferb. Something happened. It no longer has it. But I didn't know.
Never even seen Phineas and Ferb, but I don't know. Gravity Falls, from what I've seen, is pretty good. Wonder Over Yonder, I think is amazing. Just in terms of like animation.
That's what's his name's working on it. The guy who did Powerpuff Girls and Foster's. Craig McCracken.
Craig McCracken, yeah.
That's right.
I think the main character in that show is probably it's a pretty lovable character. And I don't know. I just really like the show just because it kind of reminds me of. It's more in the style of, say, a Roadrunner cartoon or something like that. It's more like it's kind of more
Looney Tune based?
Looney Tune-ish, yeah.
So you have the expectation build up, the contradiction where something else happens where you didn't expect it to happen, and then the reality of their world happens.
I don't think it's really that deep, but it's more like more of the slapsticky.
So non-verbal.
Well, there is verbal. It's just okay. You're starting to confuse me.
I'm saying there's a part where it's just, if you look at Looney Tunes, no dialogue. It's all done in movement, action.
There's like four different classes of Looney Tunes I've discovered. You have the fast-paced dialogue with the clever writing. Then you have the more physical, visual comedy, and then you have those. Then you have but those are the main two. The main two. You have either the more slapstick style or the more witty writing style. I think this is not really in the writing part, but just in terms of being, a wacky cartoon that is fun to watch, but it's not like it's one of those shows where if you go into it expecting something like if you're expecting it to be on the level of Adventure Time or something like that, you might be a little disappointed. It's just kind of a wacky cartoon that's great for kids, but I don't know if I'm really making a good case for it. Just know what to expect. It's more of an older style cartoon where there's not a whole lot of character to it, but there's not like a lot of characters or great storytelling or anything like that. Just kind of think back to the days of like cartoons from like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff like that. It's more on that level, but it's executed very well. It's beautifully animated, and I think it's up there with Foster's, just in terms of just being a really likable cartoon. That was about it. It and Gravity Falls, I think, were probably the best stuff on Disney. But hey, that's all I've seen lately.
Yeah, and speaking of like likable characters, I know anime's been doing this a lot, and American cartoons, is that they seem to be going more for a flow of likable characters over relatable characters.
Yeah.
Because how's that been with anime?
Yeah, it's more sense of likable than relatable, because they always usually go over the top.
Because I mean, it's been a while since I've been like, oh man, I really relate to this character on a certain level. But a lot of times I've been just like, oh, I just like this character, but that's really as far as it goes.
Just to kind of finish up the thing about Steven Universe real quick. The things I love about the show is, one, the animation. I really love the animation. There's one episode I saw where the animation was kind of It looked like it was done by a different team, but for the most part, the animation is really good. I think there's scenes though. There's certain like visuals in this show that are just downright beautiful to look at.
I will not lie. That's right. And it gets better as it progresses.
Just the color tinting, the way they use color is. I haven't seen that in a while in a show. You got, I mean, Adventure Time. It kind of has that same vibrant look, but I don't think it was done. It's just the way they use different shading of colors and stuff like that. It looks like a painting half the time, and I just think that looks amazing. It has a very 60s vibe to it too. It doesn't like take place in the 60s, but it feels 60s-ish with like the crystals and all that, the colors, just the whole vibe, the whole laid back vibe it has, and that's one of the things I really appreciate it. Is it just knows how much energy to use, but still have a kind of a relaxed feeling to it. It's not constant joke, wacky animation, and it's not just. It's not all energy all the time, kind of like Adventure Time. It strikes a balance to really. It strikes a balance to where it's really easy to watch. You just. Not a whole lot. You don't have to really think a lot, but that it's not stupid. It's not like
it doesn't spoon feed you the information.
It
still has stuff that you can actually make assumptions about.
Yeah, you can put thought into it, but it's not required. You can just kind of just relax and just watch the show. I haven't gotten that feeling in a while. A lot of cartoons I've watched, I feel like I have to make some sort of investment to watch, like you're kind of aware this is like 30 minutes, it's gonna you're thinking so yeah, I gotta sit down and sit for 30 minutes, especially if you have like things to do, you're like, I can't really watch, but when you watch it, you're not really concerned about how long it's taking.
I think the same, I'm gonna go a little off here, but I see Steven Universe as I see Full Metal, where it's got a whole bunch of likable characters, it's got good writing, and it's got good pacing, and I think that's the part where it's really easy to watch and you don't realize how many you're watching, is because it's got really great pacing.
Yeah, you never feel bored watching it. And when people say we're in a new boom period of cartoons, I'm willing to believe them. But I still see people talk about like, oh, all cartoons today are just complete trash because it's not one I grew up with, and people. But the funny thing is, I found a person who's like, oh, cartoons were so much better when I was a kid. He's like, I'm 14 years old and I miss all the old cartoons. What are old to a 14-year-old? Camp Lazlo?
Those are the people you don't try to change. Those are the people you don't talk to. You don't associate with. You just look at them and you just go, well,
okay,
I'm glad I'm not that far up my own asshole.
Well, the thing though is,
see the sunshine.
I understand nostalgia. I understand that if you grew up with it, it's just going to seem so much better to you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at things through nostalgia.
Well, I think this is I'm going to get on probably a really arguable part, but how far do you think Steven Universe is on your, if you watched more of it, how much would you say, compared to the older cartoons, where would you say this is on your list? If you were to compare it to Samurai Jack or Courage, or any of the really hard-hitting ones that are really good.
My standard for greatest, and when it comes to cartoons, I put them in two categories. Ones are just, this is just semantics, but it's cartoon, animated series. Batman, that's an animated series. That's not I don't really look at it as a cartoon. Gargoyles, I don't look at it as a cartoon. That's an animated series. I guess you can argue that those are animated dramas or some amalgamation of action and drama. So when it just comes to straight up standard cartoons where it's just oh, this is just to entertain me for like 30 minutes and see how they do it. My standard is Animaniacs. To me, that is the personification of a cartoon, at least to me.
Where it's just wacky, fun, and smart writing.
Yeah, it hits every nail right on the head, and I can still enjoy it now, and I still think it's just as funny now as an adult. But now, how would I compare Steven Universe stuff that I grew up with, like Animaniacs? It's not as funny, but I don't know. It's hard to say because probably because it's fresh in my head, and I just watched it this morning, and I really, really liked it. If I was to compare it to the stuff I grew up with, I would say it's better than half the stuff I grew up with. Because honestly, if I'm just gonna be honest about the stuff I grew up with shows like Doug and I'm just a lot of shows that weren't really that good. I grew up on Captain Planet, for God's sakes. Comparing it to the stuff from the throughout the 90s, I'd say it's better than half of it. A lot of people will talk about the 90s as if it was like this utopia of cartoons.
Is that the same for anime also? Or what's the...
Well, for me, when I think of like what's golden period, lack of a better word, because I just think it's silly to think, oh, this is a golden period. I usually go with the late 90s, but that's just because that's all when my favorite anime came out, where I just feel like it's bam, 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 classic, 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 classic. Some of them might not have aged very well. Evangelion.
Hey, that's actually really watchable, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but whatever. It obviously did something right because people are still talking about it. People are still watching it and all that. I'll throw it in there. But if I really had to compare it to Steven's Universe to a lot of the shows I grew up with, I would say it's better than a lot of it. Because I'm thinking, where would it rank? I would think it would rank right under Animaniacs, and probably above above things like The Tick and Sam and Max, just because of how. Again, it's really hard to say because those are like The Tick, Sam and Max, Animaniacs. Those are some of my favorite shows ever. So it's hard for me to say, but I would put it above maybe The Tick. Shows like The Tick, Sam and Max, and I'll put it right under Animaniacs personally. I think I like it more than, now comparing to newer cartoons I've seen, I like it more than Adventure Time, and I like it more than regular show. Out of those three, the pecking order is number 1, Steven Universe, number 2, Adventure Time, and number 3 on the bottom would be regular show. And it's funny because I really like regular show.
It took me a while to get in. I mean, I enjoyed regular show during its first season.
That's all I've seen. It's the first season.
And then progressively, it just kind of got a little redundant. Yeah. And then Adventure Time, it took me a while to actually get into. It's a little late the second season. And Steven Universe just got me right in on episode 1.
That's what happened with me. From the opening theme song, I was up. You can just watch that opening and you get everything that is Steven Universe. Although there are some surprises, I'll say that. Frivo.
That was not the best episode.
It wasn't the best episode, but you know what? Fuck, it's memorable. Oh, holy shit. That was a violent episode, by the way. I mean, yeah, it goes to the fact that, if it's not blood, it's okay. Yeah. No, it's ketchup. It's just, holy shit. I think Pearl stabs it in the eye, and it has like this ketchup geyser shooting out of its eye.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, if it was blood, this show would have been banned or something like that. people would have been throwing a fit over this. But because ketchup is okay. Same rule about how if it's not red, it's not blood. That's how they got around.
Well, I mean, look at Samurai Jack in its first episode after
All
he
the
was
oil?
yeah, I was like, well,
Yeah, that's freaking violent. That if it wasn't oil, then yeah, it'd be the same issue. It's funny. Have you ever seen the movie From Dusk Till Dawn?
no, I haven't.
Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I fucking love the movie. I think it's amazing. Robert Rodriguez said that they were able to get around. They were able to get off with an R rating because they almost had it. What would be an X rating? I don't know what the rating
Adult
is.
only.
Adult only, or whatever it's called. They would have gotten that if they kept the movie as was. So they changed all the blood. They changed all the blood from red to green. Because if you haven't seen the movie, so
No.
the movie is really, really gory. Oh, not gory, really bloody. Let's say that. There was just gallons of blood in this movie, which is funny because the first half is like, it's almost like, it's almost kind of like Breaking Bad a little bit meets. It just kind of has. It's not as like spectacular.
No, every time everyone speaks of gore, I just keep on thinking of the geyser of blood from all the old black and white movies. Whenever they just get cut, and just like our old animes, like, oh look, he lost his arms.
Yeah, that reminds me of something. But let's finish this off first
Okay.
before I go into this next thing. It's something I'm really excited for. But Steven Universe, I highly recommend it. I think it's an amazing show from what I've seen. Although it'll give you, I would be surprised if there's some nightmare fuel for kids in this. Frivo was fucking terrifying, and I'm a grown ass man. Cat Fingers just had me looking at my hands like, ugh. Cat Fingers was fucked up. I actually went on Google Plus, typed in Steven Universe, and you want to know the first thing popped up?
What?
It was an image from Akira, where Tetsuo was going all, like becoming like a mess of flesh, and it just replaces Tetsuo's face with Steven's, and it just says Katira or something like that, some pun on Akira and cat, because that's kind of how the episode ends, with cat puns.
Yeah.
But it says, holy shit, that is terrifying. When he's like transformed, like just cat faces are popping up all over his body, and it's just like this amalgamation of just, it's 2 steps away from kill me. It's just, holy shit, that is terrifying.
And the thing with that episode is it's a building block for one of the characters. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
It's kind of like a launching point for a certain character.
Yeah, well, it helps explain one of the characters.
Now, one thing I gotta ask: Steven just not live with his? Does he just not live with his dad?
His dad lives in a van.
Lives in a van. Why is that?
He's fucking poor. He's always lived in a van from what we
So
can
why?
tell.
I guess the house belongs to.
It wasn't a house, it was a shrine at first.
Oh, okay.
Then they built the house, but they
Why
built it
can't he
for
live there?
Steven. They
Steven lives there.
They don't like Greg.
Oh, because too much magic stuff.
No, I don't really know.
I actually
don't
love
think they like Greg
that.
much.
I actually love that in the light cannon episode, they're like, he probably broke it or dropped it in a lake.
That's
somewhere
why
at
they
some
just
point.
don't.
It's just they don't trust him with anything magic. Although I gotta admit, I really do like Steven's dad in the show. I just think he's really likable.
Well, again, Steven Universe has all likable characters, downright to it, except for like Onion and Ronaldo.
I haven't gotten that far. So.
Yeah, I haven't gone that far.
If I was going to say anything else about Steven Universe, it would be just cheeseburger backpack, cheeseburger backpack.
Second episode.
Yeah, I know.
And it always makes a little comeback too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I thought they would forget about it, but no, just cheeseburger backpack.
Kind of a running gag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't ever say the name of it anymore, but you always have it.
Somebody has to have a cheeseburger backpack for like a cosplay or something
I'm
like
pretty
that.
more than
Somebody's had to make that. But anyway, the thing I wanted to get to that I'm really excited for. Okay, have you guys seen Evil Dead? Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness?
I didn't watch them, but I know them.
You know of them?
The only way I learned of Ash was during poker night.
Oh,
That's the only way I found out about him.
That's kind of sad. You need to see Army of Darkness. Is amazing. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. I've always loved Evil Dead, especially Evil Dead 2. And apparently they're making a series after 25 years of saying, no, not happening. No, not happening. I guess they got sick of telling fans that. So they're like, fuck it, here's the goddamn show. I am ecstatic for this because I think it's being directed, I think the show's directed by Sam Raimi. At least from the trailer, it looks like Sam Raimi. You know, you can tell the certain camera angles and stuff like that. Sam Raimi has a certain vibe that you can even see in like the Spider-Man movies. You know, they got Bruce Campbell back. He's reprising his role, and you know, it starts out perfectly. Just Ash is, he's he's old, he's fat, he's living in a mobile trailer or mobile home, I mean, but he's living out of a trailer. He's just, and I don't know. It just, if you ever seen the movie My Name is Bruce, it's kind of a callback to that, I think. But it nails it. It nails the comedy just from the trailer. Check out the trailer if you ever get a chance. From the trailer, it gets the comedy right on the head. It gets the comedy right. The gore is back full force. There's just blood and just gallons of blood like Evil Dead 2.
So it just tries to stay as original to the old ones?
To the original movies. I mean, they even do the whole thing where he grabs the gun and shoots. He grabs like the shotgun and shoots from behind. Doesn't even look at what he's shooting. That's like right out of Army of Darkness. And Ash has some supporting characters, so it's not just him fighting the Deadites. So we got some new characters. Fucking Xena, Warrior Princess, is going to be in this movie. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but whenever I see her, I'm like, that's fucking Xena. If you've never seen Xena, the show, Xena Warrior Princess, it's a fucking awesome show. Also, Bruce Campbell plays kind of this trickster god in it. And just, I saw her on screen, I'm like, fuck yes, hell yeah, I am all for that. She might be 55, but she's still hot as hell. I want to see this show so fucking bad. It just, everything Evil Dead, it hits right on the head. This is practically Evil Dead 4. Everybody's been talking about Evil Dead 4. They want Evil Dead 4. They want more Evil Dead. We got it. On Stars. So
that's the weird part. Yeah. 'Cause I remember I saw a little logo. I saw a small thing for it, and it's all Stars. I'm like, I don't think that's the best move.
Well, it's probably the only people who take it.
You can go like Netflix or Hulu. Fucking Hulu should take it.
Yeah,
Someone should take it.
If it gets on Hulu or Netflix, I can't imagine this not getting on Netflix. I honestly would think you would have gone with Netflix first because that's
what goes all the original, Netflix originals.
Yeah, Netflix has really nailed every show out of the park. Every show I've seen on original show on Netflix I've seen, it has been great. I fucking love Daredevil. I think that's an amazing show.
You watched it, and you also watched Orange is the New Black, didn't you?
A little bit of Orange is the New Black.
Okay, I didn't really get into it. I tried watching the first episode, and I was kind of like, I don't know.
You've seen Daredevil?
Yeah, a little bit. And It was enjoyable while I watched it, but I just kind of dropped it because I wasn't that interested.
Yeah, okay.
Better than the movie.
Better than the movie.
Dear God, yeah.
Good, way better than. But at that point, that's the lowest bar.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Electra was worse. I'll say that. I don't care what anybody says. Electra sucks way more than Daredevil. Anyway, I'm really hyped for this show. I can't wait for like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Instant Video to pick this up because honestly, that's the only way I'm going to be able to watch it. So yeah, Ash versus the Evil Dead.
You should have turned that off a long
Should've.
time ago.
But Ash versus the Evil Dead, can't wait to see it. What's next? You've been keeping tabs on what's the thing you were watching on Twitch?
Oh, Evo?
Yeah, Evo.
Yeah, Evo 2015 for fighting games.
I'm completely brand new to this, so I'm just going to leave it to you.
It's just a tournament that happens every year. It is the biggest fighting game tournament every year. Usually it'll go somewhere around the U.S. Now it's in Vegas right now. Had around 2,000 participants for Street Fighter alone. Then it had like 1,800 for the new Smash Brothers, like 1,700 or something for Melee.
And I just find it hard to believe Smash is on there for like fighting game tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't view it as a fighting game, but at least it has a competitive community and people are willing to watch it.
I figured it would have already a built-in audience, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. So how's the tournament structured? Is just
It's in brackets. Everyone's in their own pools in the beginning, so it'll be like pool A will have like I think 15, 20, 30 brackets in it, and then pool B to like pool D, and the winner of those get into the top 64 players of the tournament,
yeah.
and then the winner of top 64, top 32, and then just moves up until they hit top 8, which is usually that's all done in one day. So they get 2,000 rounds done in one day. That's ridiculous amount of like organization.
I can't even imagine.
Well, it also depends how fast each match goes. That's
Well,
one
fighting
thing.
games usually go really fast.
Unless
Yeah.
it's Smash 4.
Yeah, that's another weakness of the Smash Brothers games. They go really slow. All of them do. Because I remember at Evo 2014, I think Street Fighter went on to like I think 3 in the morning or something like that because the Smash Brothers went for like 6-7 hours for their top 8.
It seems like this sounds, from what I've seen from what was it, Friday. What I've seen from it is, it at least is more watchable than the Nintendo World Championship that they did a couple months ago. That was just a disaster.
That was when I tried hyping Smash 4, and they were like, "Guys, look, it's
We brought back the World Tournament, yay!
what are we doing? It's the glove all over again. The
Yeah,
Power
it's
Glove
just-
all over again. We fucked up, guys."
I don't think it's Power Glove bad. No, I don't think it's Power Glove bad, but it was like, they could have done it so much better.
That's
And
usual Nintendo. They never get anything competitive right.
you know what? Before we started recording, we were talking about what has Nintendo really made any like great games in the last 2 generations. I just thought of one when I just brought up the World Tournament. I got to play Splatoon, and that game
That is a piece of shit.
really.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you compare it to other FPS,
Wait. Well, it's not even an FPS. It's
well,
not an
third
FPS.
person FPS.
Okay.
That's an overhyped game that people just went in on because they thought it would be good.
Okay. What's in your opinion? What's wrong with the game?
haven't generally played it, but I know a lot of people who have played it and just said it's just another gimmick that Nintendo did, and it's not worth their money or their time.
I actually got to play a few rounds of it, and from a mechanic standpoint, from a mechanical standpoint,
There's a huge fan base for the game, I know that, but I know a lot of people who played it and they were just like, it's just another bad optimized game that's come out in these past 4 years. Because I haven't seen a good optimized game in like fucking 7 years.
well, at least with my experience with Splatoon, I enjoyed the hell out of it personally. I felt like the games were like I played a few online games, and I feel like it was a lot more fun than any other than a lot of competitive games I've played online. It just feels like things are more balanced, and it just when you lose, you don't feel like you don't feel like you lost because of bad game design or anything like that, or that that it's unmatched or whatever, or what am I looking for?
Uneven matchmaking.
Yeah, it felt fair. Every game felt fair, and I was personally really enjoying.
Well, pretty much somewhere like this, the less competitive it is, the more fun it is, but also depending on the level of competition.
Well, from what I played a lot of guys who were really good at it, and I lost more times than I won. But I never felt bored. I never felt like, oh man, I lost again. I was like, I couldn't wait to start up a new game because I just thought it was really fun. My only nitpick is I wish you could customize the color. I know they don't want red and white because supposedly the reason why they don't want red and white is because red looks like blood and white looks like semen. But I think there's a mod. I think you can modify it to where you can make it whatever color. You can make it whatever color. But I just wish that was like a thing within the game that you could customize your colors.
The main for like multiplayer, the more shits and giggles it is, the more funner it is.
Yeah.
And the more it is to actually
Funner. You used it. Funner.
fun.
More fun.
The more fun it is.
More fun. I say funner all the time.
Not a word.
I don't give a shit if it's a word or not. I say it. Came out of my
But,
mouth, so
mean-
I count it.
I mean, it's annoying. I mean, pretty fun. Pissing off the tryhard. It sucks playing with tryhards who always want to win. And
Well-
can't do shits and giggles.
I don't know. One thing I discovered was everybody wanted to be the paint roller. Everybody wanted to get the giant paint roller. So I wound up mostly playing offensively, which is funny because that just goes against how I play how I've always played. I'm better as a support person than actual offensive person. That's probably why I suck so much at games like Call of Duty. Because I'm not good at running, gunning.
Call of Duty's so boring. Modern Warfare, first one, was pretty solid, but
I think the campaign. I don't give a shit about the multiplayer.
all I did was play zombies for Black Ops, so it was just like my
I
buddies.
actually love the campaign for Black Ops just because it felt like an action movie, and I
That's
don't know.
all they are. They're just
That-
another script writing for freaking what's his name?
Michael Bay.
Basically, that's all they are.
I don't know. As just being a pure entertaining play, I enjoyed myself playing Call of Duty Black Ops. That's about the only one I've enjoyed since Call of Duty 3. But then again, I don't get a chance to play them very often because I don't give a shit about Call of Duty.
Was there much chance of shits and giggles for Call of Duty? I don't really think there is.
What are you talking? Everybody's just running around in circles.
No, I'm just saying to really annoy where, you have fun or you slightly annoy people. It's not really, I wouldn't say trolling. You're not really trying to piss them off. You're just, doing really stupid shit for fun. Or a really stupid build.
You know what Splatoon reminded me of? Just in ways that I couldn't wait to jump back into it, and it was just a really fun game. Kind of reminded me of Team Fortress a little bit. Just because I've always felt like Team Fortress was really, I suck at it. I'm really, really bad at it.
Well,
but
Team Fortress doesn't have the hugest learning curve, but it does have a curve. but it's not the biggest curve to ever learn.
No, it's not that I think the game's hard. I just suck at it. That's it. I usually just play a medic, and that's about it. Because I don't know, everybody plays heavies. I swear to God, I got into a game where everybody was a heavy. Do they have a mode where you only could pick one class and that's what you stick to?
Yeah, that's Highlander.
Highlander, okay.
Highlander is where you can only pick. Everyone has to pick one class and one class only.
In terms of just like being a team game, I think Splatoon is pretty good at encouraging teamwork. Because the game's almost...
Games that encourage teamwork can also be really bad, though.
Well, yeah, if you're playing with a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, and that's usually what you get in those type of games.
Learn that from Left 4 Dead.
Most of the people I played with, though, on Splatoon have been have been at least confident. They're not like going off doing their own thing. They're actually, actually helping. So I've never really came around. I never really played with somebody who was just like destructive. And I realized that most of the people who play Splatoon are like 10. But still, for what I played, I thought it was great. There are certain things I wish could have been done better. I don't really like the overworld setting. I don't like overworlds in games, honestly. I'd rather just...
What's the overworld like?
It's basically...
A lobby?
Well, yes, like a lobby dressed up like some kind of futuristic Tokyo. One of the things I love about the game...
Is it Sand Free in Tokyo?
What?
I'm trying to think what the hell it is. From Big Hero 6.
I have not seen that.
Oh.
I wanted to.
It's a superhero movie.
Oh, yeah, it's based off a Marvel comic book.
That's all it really is.
With Splatoon, one thing I also love kind of the 90s Nickelodeon vibe to it. Maybe that's just because of, I've been playing mostly using orange. But it really does have this kind of retro 90s vibe, which I don't think it's like real in your face with it, but I just kind of like that kind of punk vibe it has. It's not like the same level of, it's not in your face like what was that game where you're grinding on you're constantly grinding and fighting like zombies that became zombies because of an energy drink. What was that? That was
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was another really bad game, because that's all that's been coming out recently.
Again, it's another case where I enjoyed the game, but...
I was thinking of more like that game you played, that hip-hop one where you spray painted.
Oh, Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, I just saw it more like that. I was like, sure.
And I love Jet Set Radio, so that's kind of what I can't remember the name of the... Sunset Overdrive. That's what I'm thinking of. Sunset Overdrive reminded me of Jet Set Radio.
Wait, I'm not Jet Set Radio, but Sunshine Override. I think Zero Punctuation did a review of it and said it was trying to be too hip.
Yeah, it's very obvious what it's trying to do.
Like, it's like the rocket power of gaming, where it's like, oh, look at me, guys, I'm hip. Look what old people look at you like. This is what you look like to
I wouldn't say rocket power. That's more quackback.
Okay.
But yeah, I played the game. It's okay. It's nothing amazing or anything like that, and I didn't expect it to be. But usually I try to go into games not thinking, oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm not looking for like, oh, another BioShock Infinite or Batman Arkham City. I'm not looking for those games typically when I play games.
I mean, Infinite wasn't really amazing.
Me either.
I mean, gameplay-wise, it was pretty...
I loved it, but I think the first BioShock was better.
Yeah, I liked the ending just because it had that little slight twist, and I did, like the whole time rift stuff, but I felt like I could have done a lot better and been more creative. It felt very limiting. Because you can open rifts to different things. It's like we could have
jump into other dimensions and stuff like that.
So much more.
But then again, you have to think about the confines of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Because you don't want to go too... That's probably why they'll never make a Superman game, ever again. Because Superman does not work well with video games because it's like you can move the planet. Yeah, you're not exactly going to get a Superman game that makes you, because there's certain limitations to that.
Here, combine Superman with Minecraft. Destroy the world.
Which does bring me to something else. You guys are probably going to groan at this, but ScrewAttack.com released their second Superman vs. Goku video, and apparently there was this whole controversy over it. I say controversy with the biggest quotations that you can imagine. Basically,
did Superman win?
fanboys bitched.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's what you expect.
That's what they're trying to
No,
go
man,
for.
they need to have all the characters versus One Punch Man.
Well, the thing though is, I've said this before about when it comes to this, it's fictional characters fighting in a fake fight on YouTube.
Well,
Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, because people get compassionate about the character. But that's what I like about One Punch Man is the fact that it just throws those whole arguments out. Because it's just like, why does it really matter being on top?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I looked at like Death Battle. I've always looked at it like it's entertainment. That's all it is. I don't care which character wins or which character loses. If they make a good case for it, I don't care. Usually they do.
I just kind of saw it the same way I saw it as what was the Greatest Warrior. Because I mean, when it really
Deadliest Warrior.
or Deadliest Warrior.
Except it was good. Except it's not complete shit.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Because really what it comes down to is, I forgot what there was a certain law where it's always going to be luck over skill.
Yeah.
When it comes down to really fighting and all that, you can sometimes just get dumb lucky, and that's really what it comes down to.
Now, and this is why I like Death Battle more than I would have ever liked Deadliest Warrior. You're using fictional characters, so it's whatever the creator feels is right. And the thing though is you're taking characters from two different continuities, two different
Oh man, just do One Punch Man.
franchises.
Just One Punch Man throughout all of it. A One Punch Man versus the world.
What's One Punch Man?
It's a manga, basically.
It's gonna be turned into an anime.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
an anime, and it's a satire towards all heroes, basically.
Ah, okay.
It's just this one guy who looks dinky as fuck, and he can't really lose because he kills everything in one punch.
Ah.
That's why it's called One Punch Man.
And everyone around him is like super serious, like, oh, I'm the biggest hero of the world, or I'm the biggest villain, I can eat galaxies. And he's like, alright, shut up, just one punch kill you. They just blow up into like millions of
that
pieces.
sounds
It's like
amazing.
ultra violent.
That sounds amazing.
You'll probably love it when it hits into the anime.
Now with Death Battle, I've said this with people on YouTube before, and that the thing though is it's just for pure entertainment. You shouldn't take it seriously. I didn't know people were taking this shit seriously.
That's why I told you. I was like, well,
Yeah.
people are gonna.
You told me it was just basically to enlist a flame war, which you told me flame war. I'm like, I thought flame war sounded so stupid. It's like, I'm gonna have a flame war.
No,
kid.
it gets
just-
stupid. You don't look at the comments. You just go.
Isn't that all of YouTube now?
No, there's
I haven't
no-
seen a good YouTube comment section in
Oh, well,
fucking
yeah, okay.
years.
I thought you. There's still good content on YouTube, but the comment sections are.
It's
I don't know,
just
for the
garbage.
learning and science ones, that's where it's at.
Well, although I found some where I'm like, okay, these are they're not assholes. I've came across people in comments that were they have their opinion, but they weren't man children. But anyway, with the whole Goku Superman thing, they did it again. Superman won again, and they basically point blank said, because of the way Dragon Ball Z is set up, the way the DC universe is set up, Superman will always win because it's.
But don't worry, guys. We can wish Goku back with the Dragon
They
Ball.
did. That's what they did in the video. It's like because Superman gathered the Dragon Balls and wished for the Earth back, and basically took out Goku because he's like basically this embodiment of chaos. Because he's like so hungry to fight, they basically blew up the planet.
Like I said, One Punch Man versus Superman. That's
And
a
they-
paradox.
From what I understand, from what I've seen, from what I saw in the video, I don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think they're going to really use Superman anymore death battles, because it's just basically who do you put him up with?
He's the Sumeri of all Sumeris, except for One Punch Man. That's why I say you got to put him against One Punch
But
Man.
anyway,
Mary Sue, there we
the
go.
reason why they did this fight is because Superman got a new power, like a solar flare.
Well, to be
power.
fair, he can lose in DC Universe or whatever DC versus Mortal Kombat ended.
Yeah.
He loses to fucking anybody, you know.
Yeah,
These are
well,
the bitch tits who just slaps him. He's like, oh no, he lost.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing: if Goku had like was magic, then he would have a chance. He's not.
To be fair, Goku could also lose because in Dragon Ball Kai, if you play what's his name, the guy with the afro, the human, he can actually beat Goku up.
Yeah.
There's your logic right there. So technically, they're both mere mortals that could still lose.
That was basically every comment on Screw Attack's videos ever.
I was like, you gotta take the video game into account too.
Anyway, the whole thing with Superman got a new power and Goku got a new transformation. Super Saiyan God, which I still say sounds stupid. But it was topped, because in the new movie, apparently, he has Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. You already took a stupid sounding name and just beat it over the head with a stupid stick.
Isn't that all of Dragon Ball Z?
What?
Just a fucking show beat with the stupid stick.
Nah.
Over the top bullshit almost every minute.
Well, okay, if you're going to criticize it for being over the top, you might as well criticize all anime.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay, that worked. I've made no bones about it that I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but it is stupid. I'll admit it. But it's just when I heard they were going to do a new battle between Goku and Superman, like, okay, Superman will win again, then Goku will get another transformation, and the whole argument will start all over again. It's a never-ending chain. So I think Screw Attack's taking a good route, ignoring it.
Just say who can yell the loudest. Leave it at that.
I
At
think.
least Goku can win that way.
Yeah. Anyway, this is stupid. I enjoyed Death Battle. I think I think Screw Attack has made a pretty cool series. The actual fights are really well animated at times. Sometimes it's just pixel animation, but the computer animation and all that is usually pretty good for YouTube.
I give credit where credit's due. Animation's a bitch. Blah blah blah. It's difficult. It has the highest learning curve, and if you don't know how to draw, it's a fucking bitch.
Wow. Well, I'm talking like in computer animation, but whatever. I'm pretty sure the same thing applies.
Oh yeah, same thing does apply for CG and all that, because it's a bitch too.
Well, there's kind of a thing I wanted to talk about, but for the life of me now I can't remember it. But what was it? Oh yeah, I was going to mention this. I've been watching a lot of anime films lately, and I just wanted to get you guys' opinion. And what do you think what is your favorite anime film?
Film? It would have to be the Karano Kyokai series.
Okay.
It's a series of films, at least like 7 of them. Some are on like 30 minutes, but I just like that it's not like self-explanatory.
I need to watch.
And it's not rushed, because there's 7 films.
Well,
you don't
isn't it?
have to, get everything done in 1.5 hours
Well,
or 2 hours.
isn't Karanoka all just self-interpretation? Isn't that what it really was just
Basically.
left up to?
Yeah.
I would have watched it, but it's as long as fucking Lord of the Rings.
No, it's not. Lord
I
of
don't
the
know.
Rings is like
I thought it was just as long.
Lord of the Rings is almost a whole day long. Like 12, 15.
Well, I mean, technically we did watch all the Hobbit, so I should have the time to fucking watch all
Karano
Karanoka.
Kyokai, there's like 3 movies that are like 30 minutes.
Really? Only 30 minutes?
Yeah,
Are films just shorter in Japan, or what?
they're allowed to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
They don't have to run an hour and 30 minutes.
They don't have to run 2 hours, 3 hours, and all the bullshit they do here. Too long.
I just like that it was 7 movies and it got everything done within the 7 movies. It wasn't just one movie, cram it all in there, get it out there.
Kira.
Yep.
You got one?
Well, I've only really watched, let's see, I know I've watched Miyazaki's film. What's the only one I really liked was,
Why
it's
not
called
Wolf
Princess.
Children?
Okay, I'm gonna get there.
Listen,
Alright.
Mononoke was
It
was
was
pretty good.
It was unique. It was interesting. I like the fact there was no really villain.
Everybody told me Spirited Away is much better. I have not seen it, so I don't know.
I haven't
It's
seen
one of his
Spirited
top
Away.
3, but I don't think it would be better.
I mentioned this the other day that I've only seen two. I forgot of one. I forgot one that I saw that I thought was really good, and that was House Moving Castle or Walking Castle. I can't remember the exact title of it. When I saw that, I thought that was great, but I haven't seen it since, so I don't know.
My favorite has to be Grave of the Fireflies, because it's kind of historical in a way.
Yeah. I would say it's one of those movies where it's like a lot people say, oh, it's not. A lot of people say it's not an anti-war film, but I don't know. I watched it. It's like, how can you not see
It's
this as an anti-war
strongly.
film?
Yeah,
He's
it
usually
implies
very-
it.
Well, the
Well,
thing,
it shows the size
Same
of.
with like
The thing-
Mononoke, it implies, you know.
the same. The thing though is the curator. Apparently, the curator said it's not an anti-war film.
Miyazaki?
He wasn't.
It wasn't
No.
the creator.
I don't know.
It was based on
Oh.
the book.
Oh, you mean the original creator? That's right. He animated it.
He said point blank that it's not an anti-war film, but
It implies almost, but
It seems like an anti-war film because it's just about really the 2 children one, right?
Yeah, it's just
Where they're just
it's
trying to survive.
It's the 2 family children, yeah, just trying to survive
And
through
the hardship
war.
of Japan. Because that really did go something like that.
I thought it was a great movie, and I mean, you would have to be a pretty hardened person not to at least get misty-eyed during that movie. But I felt this is my only criticism of the movie. I felt like it was trying to make you cry. Like it's just like
Yeah, that's why I didn't really get misty-eyed, because it's like, I knew it was coming, unfortunately,
they were
because
starving.
assholes kept spoiling.
the beginning of the movie sets it up.
Yeah. But it was still just like, you know what's going to happen. Because, I mean, even if you don't get spoiled, you're kind of like,
Well,
You can see it.
It's
Oh
a-
no.
you
they
can
get-
still-
yeah, the beginning just tells you.
it tells you right out that these
Yeah.
characters are going to die. And I don't want to say spoilers, but it's in the first 5 seconds of the movie.
Yes.
Um,
Some assholes don't even watch the first 5 seconds of movies. They're too busy getting popcorn.
they just start the movie, just don't even look at it. But the thing with it though is it felt like it was trying to kind of manipulate the audience, but you can argue that with almost any movie.
It
But,
was with kids, and I mean, you're gonna get, at least you do get connected, you do get invested into it, and the movie does what it needs to do.
I look at it as an anti-war film, so even if the creator doesn't look at it as
It comes
that
in,
way, I mean, Roger Ebert called it an anti-war film. Does that make him wrong?
it
It's
comes
just-
in the self-interpretation.
Yeah, it's like. It's
I mean,
more-
I'm gonna agree with you. It comes off anti-war.
even if the guy making it wasn't intending it to be. My favorite anime film. Now I have two. I have two favorites. One I think is legitimately good that everybody needs to see at some point or another. I say it's one of those things you got to see. Then there's my personal favorite. My personal favorite is Ghost in the Shell. Now the one that I say everybody needs to see is Jinro Wolf Brigade.
Yeah, I would
I
give that.
need to watch that one. I got recommended it, and it was on my list to watch.
It's one that the only problem with it is you gotta really strap it. You
'Cause I
got
heard it's really slow.
it's slow, but you gotta pay attention.
Yeah, it does. It's not gonna baby you.
You really have to commit to it to watch it. Ghost in the Shell, you can say it's the same thing, but it's little easier for me to watch it than than Jinro, and that's why I say Ghost in the Shell is my favorite and not Jinro. Jinro is a fantastic movie. It's an amazing film, but you really gotta strap in, sit down, and pay attention.
Yep.
And no, I say that, but
Those are my favorite kind of shows. The ones where it doesn't try to baby you with a big explanation.
it doesn't give you like a big dump of information in the first
Don't
5
get me
minutes.
wrong.
That's
I like
one
that
of
too.
the bad faults around the Fate Zero, the first episode.
Information dump
It's
coming in.
50-minute information dump.
just so 50 minutes of exhibition. Nice.
Well, it doesn't explain like. Well, okay, yeah, done. It's mainly explaining each of the heroes.
Yeah, the characters, but it also explains
Well,
The Grail.
more.
You
yeah.
can do that. It's just there is a way to do it. You just have to make sure you do it in an interesting way.
Yeah, but the way it makes it hard to suggest the series.
Well,
And it's a good series.
I watched a lot of anime where like either a film or a series where they'll just give you the entire synopsis right in the first 5 minutes, where it's just a text scroll.
Yep.
Vampire Hunter D does that. And by the way, that little bit of text in the beginning of Vampire Hunter D kills the entire movie. Because you're like, okay, all right. It just says that magic exists, and vampires and werewolves exist, and that this is in the distant future.
How about you don't say any of that and you just go with the film and
was-
people expect it?
Well, that also a small issue with Star Wars because they also did that
Yes.
with the whole
Who the fuck reads it?
and it's all
I
long
did, 'cause
text.
I went through it and I was like, alright, I'm going to pay attention to everything that goes on. That's why I don't think Star
The-
Wars
the-
is a good series at all.
And I completely disagree on that, but whatever. That's besides the point.
I see it as a good sci-fi, but I don't see it as good as Star Trek.
And you can that's the debate that can go on forever. But
Let's not go into that.
I'm
Let's
not
not go
gonna
into
do
the nerd rage,
no rage. It's just
flame wars.
there's yeah. We're probably gonna start a few.
But anywho, so I'll get
Hey.
on.
Anyway, what I was gonna say was a lot of anime try to just not a lot of shows, anime, and a lot of films just try to give you a bunch of a lot of information in the first 5 seconds, usually thrown in as a text scroll. At least that's one thing I can say about a lot of the newer anime I've seen is they don't really resort to that. I imagine still explaining things to the audience still happens in anime.
Oh, speaking of really weird ones, we watched that Madoka movie one. What did you think of that?
Doka has
That's
a movie.
just, it's a continuation of the series though.
Okay, that's
So
all.
you can't really recommend that to people who haven't even watched the series.
Yeah.
So
I was just wondering what you thought of it, because
What I thought of it? I thought it was good. A lot of people didn't like the ending, but I liked it. I thought it was well
Because
ending.
she comes like what, like demigod or evil or something? It was really, it was weird as fuck,
The whole show's kind of weird as fuck.
but I like it.
Yeah, that's Urabuchi, the butcher. He does weird shit, and I like it.
I never really. I tried to watch Madoka Magica, but I never really could get into it. And it's not that it's bad or anything from what I've seen. It looks pretty damn good. I mean, for what it is, for the genre it's in. It kind of throws kind of a curveball that you're not expecting.
Well, it pretty much just did what Evangelion did, where it's just like, oh look, being the pilot or being the chosen one is not fun.
Well,
This isn't fun.
okay, they could have established that without having what 10 episodes of whining
For what?
from Evangelion.
It was only 4.
Yeah.
Only 4 episodes of whining.
First episode, yes, it was whining. Mainly the fact that he didn't want to do it because he didn't want that response. He's a 14-year-old kid. Imagine being 14 and you're just like, guess what? You have to save the world.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like, what?
It's like the
I
fuck
just
am
came to see you because I just moved into town,
He-
asshole.
Yeah, it's like the only thing is I'll have to go back and watch the show. Honestly, to have any real legitimate
Okay,
criticism.
like the
of
first 4 is where it's Shinji's just going through his hardship of it, and I can get like, okay, yeah, but I can also have to argue that he's 14 years old. Come on, you're gonna do that when
At
you're
least
14.
you didn't get a main character. Like people bitch about him as a main character. At least you didn't get a main character who's like, yeah, my arrogance is so far up my ass. I'm so
At least he's
dumb
not
and I got
Naruto.
everything going.
At least it's not Naruto.
Oh god, that's
Believe me.
Oh god. If we're gonna like real quick, top 3 most annoying anime characters.
Aaron for me.
Let's try
That's
stick to
hard.
protagonists. Let's try to stick to
Oh,
the
okay,
main
the main
character.
character.
The main character.
there's.
Wait. Who's the Jar Jar Binks
Well,
of
that's
the
not
anime?
it.
That's not
No, we're
what
talking
I had.
about
No one-
Japanese.
you don't think
anime,
anyone's
so,
that far?
Let's go Japanese anime.
No. I'm just saying what
Oh,
character.
Oh, what's the Jar Jar of anime?
I know, yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's something. I can't honestly think off the top of my head that like a side character that you just wish was dead.
Let's go with the main character for School Days.
Okay.
I'll go
What?
with him.
Never heard of that.
Just go watch it. It's a giant colossal piece of shit.
Oh, okay. So it's
Wait,
bad.
no. Inuyasha. He.
Nah. I would go with if we're gonna go with any character from Inuyasha, I would say Kagomi's way more annoying.
Well, okay, yeah, that's right. It's two splits. Technically, she is the main character also.
I think she's probably the more infuriating character. Then again, this is somebody who watched Inuyasha like 10 years ago. Or 15 years ago, whenever it came out. I don't know, for me, Naruto, pretty high up there. That's like,
Well,
but that's like the
that's
standard.
everyone, yeah.
Everyone says that, but hey, it's true. I personally don't like the character from Evangelion, but again, that's obvious. I'm gonna go with probably the late. Not as obvious.
Rewatching it, I was like, oh, Shinji.
He's kind of like a 14-year-old who just went through war with PTSD.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
He comes down to the more relatable than likable.
Yeah, he's not very likable, especially if you
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie in the video.
Yeah, he's not a likable character, but he's a relatable one. That's the way he's done.
That's what they're
Which is
trying
hard
to get
to do.
across, but I don't find him that relatable, honestly. But it just I don't know. I actually can't really think of off the top of my head that aren't the obvious choices. Because honestly, most of the anime I remember are anime I enjoy.
Wait, what?
Same,
Whoa,
'cause I would just drop the
I
anime if
saw
I didn't
like
like
2
it.
seconds of that, and that's all I needed to see. Nah, I know it was a thing back in like 2006 or 2005.
Was Tenchi annoying? I don't remember anything from Tenchi movie.
Tenchi and Tichimu?
I don't remember
No,
anything.
not really. Now you're
Wait,
gonna
Ash.
say Ash from Pokemon? Yeah, I'll totally take that.
He doesn't
I'm
really
a
have
never-aging 10-year-old.
Well,
With no
that's not his fault. That's the writer's fault.
with no personality.
Yep.
And not much of a
He's not really
personality.
annoying. He just doesn't. He's like rock.
Oh, I forgot to mention this in when I was talking about Steven Universe. Apparently, remember the thing where they're fighting like this weird centipede monster with an eyeball in it?
Episode 1.
Yeah, that was episode 1.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
honestly, I don't remember the order, but they basically captured it in a Pokeball.
Yeah.
I just now remembered that.
That's what a lot of people said.
Yeah.
Pokeball.
I don't know. It's hard to really pick out the worst of the worst.
Because I just blank them out.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I don't
that's
like
about
this
it.
show, so I'm going to just move on.
Yeah, just erase it from your.
I mean,
from
it's
your
easier to
consciousness.
pick like characters that are in like good shows that are bad characters that you just like shoot.
Yeah, but we're talking
sure.
like protagonists. Besides the obvious choices, like Naruto, there's really not a whole lot of protagonists that I remember being just obnoxious.
They're kind of just either.
Maybe the kid from I can't remember the name of it now. Something 7.
Wait, what's his name from
Eureka
Beyblade?
7?
Do what?
Eureka 7?
I think. Is that the one with the surfing robots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renton.
I would throw him in there. I would also throw.
He gets better through the show, but yeah, in the beginning.
The only teenage character I've seen that's done like really good, and I'm mad that I don't remember his name, but the character from Fully Cooley, the bully from Fully Cooley, I think was probably one of the better examples of a teenager in an anime.
Well, he just didn't really care. He was just kind of like, whatever.
There's a kid
Well-
just being used, basically.
Well, the thing though is that's something that I can kind of more relate to, just being in that mindset of who gives a fuck. Because that's kind of how I was when I was 13. I was just like, who gives a fuck?
Man, that's really all he was like. I don't really care about this. I don't really care about
He wants to be looked as an adult. I could relate to that when I was 13 because I wanted people to look at me as not a kid, as an adult. I can identify with that. I actually find him to be an actual identifiable character in an anime. Even though you get into the whole robot crawling out of his skull thing, and you forget about that part.
the wackiness of the show.
Which that's actually part of why I like it, but I still can't believe the same people did that did Evangelion. That fan of
Gainax,
Evangelion.
yeah.
I actually, as a studio, I actually don't mind Gainax that much because they made some shows that I really enjoy.
They have hit or misses a lot, and now they're just gone.
They just gone full.
No,
Fuck Guardian.
no. Like,
Okay.
now they're just, they don't exist really.
All right, I think it's about time we need to wrap this up. What time is it?
It's 2:46.
2:46.
It's
Yeah,
about
it's about-
Okay, and we kind
Excuse me,
of.
gentlemen. I think I dropped a. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you-
No, it's totally okay. We just edit that out. Let us just wrap it up. All right, since we kind of exhausted all of our topics, we're just going to kind of end it at this point. So, I'm Philip.